We've always taken an antagonistic approach to how people view digital. Snapchat and that dog filter, everyone in the world can access it. What makes it special that you own it? Fewer people having access to something creates more value and exclusivity, and that really sort of promotes the both intrinsic and extrinsic values of ownership.
Last week, non-fungible tokens hit the news once again as digital card game Gods Unchained single-handedly ensured NFTs surpassed transactions from all other token types on the Ethereum blockchain. The game uses ERC-721 tokens to represent its cards, and Ethereum posted a record 3.7 million transactions in just one day. CryptoKitty should already be very familiar to crypto natives, and in May this year, Animoca brand successfully auctioned a high-performance F1 virtual car for 415.9 ETH or $106,000 as part of their F1 Delta Time blockchain game. Tilda, NFTs are still hot property, and one New York company is making giant strides in this rapidly growing sector.
Quidd is the leading marketplace for buying and selling digital collectibles. We've got over 7 million mainstream fans who we've converted into collectors of digital stickers, digital trading cards, digital figures. We've issued now over 2.1 billion individually serialized digital collectibles that now sit and are stored in these collectors' digital collections.
We run a free-to-play mobile application since 2016. Without this notion of actually either owning an object or being able to provide any sort of liquidity or cash out mechanism for your investment in these objects. People are doing this because they love what they're doing on Quidd.
One of the secrets of Quidd's success has been their ability to strike deals with major mainstream brands.
We work with over 300 brands. We are trusted partners of Disney, of Marvel, of various media companies, even sports leagues.
By working with licensed content owners, we were able to attract users who would then monetize in our app, and then we could reinvest further into more licensed intellectual property, which would then attract more users and create a nice big flywheel of being able to bring as many brands to the platform as possible and attract as many users as possible.
But there's one key challenge which the team has aimed to tackle.
How do you create an experience where an object at the heart of it is viewed as valuable, and where millions of people can look at that object and say, there's a consensus on this, that we all think this is valuable. We think there's real specialness to scarcity. And we think that when you remove scarcity, relationships and business models fundamentally change. In some cases, they don't change for the better.
There's value that's created in terms of monetary value, that extrinsic value that's based on demand that exists for this item. But there's a lot of people that gain value just out of how beautiful a piece of art is.
To date, there currently is no way for somebody to liquidate their assets and either recoup their investment or to gain a profit from it. So quite literally, any economic incentive to collect our digital collectibles doesn't exist today, which I think makes what we've accomplished to date even more special. So first step is to unlock that value for our 7 million collectors that can only be provided by the blockchain.
Digital scarcity can now become provable. In the past, you've had a lot of instances where things are sort of portrayed as rare or common or uncommon, but you never really know how many items are really out there. But it's a really interesting notion to be able to prove just how many of these items exist and have that transparency be a real driver for value in the future.
As the value creeps up, an owner or a prospective owner of that item is going to need certain insurance policies. They're going to need a certain level of security as to where it's stored and how it's transmitted. They're going to need a certain level of privacy. Owners of high value items don't necessarily want to be outed for who they are. They're going to need a certain throughput if they want to transact it at high volume. They're going to need a certain cost to hit. And ultimately, they're going to need a certain amount of trust that that digital item is safe. We can provide that trust, and we've done it today as a centralized system. That's one of the miracles we've pulled off, is not a single one of our collectors questions. When we say there's 500 of these that exist, there's truly 500. But I think when the value of an item goes up, which they inevitably will as these items become more and more scarce and gain more and more mythology in the aftermarket, that better technical requirements are needed.
Earlier this year, blockchain gaming specialist Animoca announced their intention to acquire Quidd, with the goal of creating a powerful ecosystem to expand the sale of crypto collectibles. It's the logical next step for the ambitious young company.
We are not a blockchain company, like period, full stop, the end. And that's why it's so clever, because you can take what we're doing, which works without the blockchain, and then enhance that experience by bringing the blockchain to the back end. This is a universal human activity that everybody at some point in their lives engages in. There's no reason this should be a narrow experience that's only available to the technological elites or the early adopters. This really has to hit every single person. So for us, as it relates to Harmony, we simply need to work with a blockchain that has a high throughput. It is full stop a disqualifier if you can't handle the current transaction volume that we have today and that we'll have in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months.
Currently, we do about 6 to 7 transactions per second in the aftermarket. Where Harmony is just so important is being able to create that seamless user experience that no other network can really handle. That throughput, that transactions per second, throughput that Harmony can power our ecosystem with is going to be invaluable and create the single best consumer experience we could hope for our consumers.
With Gods Unchained already proving the appeal of collectibles in the digital space, there's seemingly no limits to what could be possible in this fast-growing market.
Everything has a home on Quidd. People are fans of different things, and it's not my place to tell people what to collect and what not to collect. Everything should have a home on Quidd, no matter what brand you are, no matter what industry, and no matter if you're a celebrity, a fashion brand. Whatever you are, there's fans of your property out there, and we want to be that central source that allows you to connect with those consumers. The notion of provenance is something that will become more and more important and really become sort of part of the lore and narrative around each item that exists.
There is some value in making things difficult to get. There is some value in making things almost impossible to get because not enough of them exist in the world for you to have access to and for you to eventually own. When everyone has access to everything and everything's effectively rented, I think there'll be a contrarian viewpoint where actually owning something, where you know that you're one of like 500 people on the planet that have an item like this, will have immense value.
So if you're enjoying these Harmony Insights videos, please be sure and leave a comment. And if you don't like them, you can also leave a comment, that's also fine. Subscribe, like, do the usual things and share them on your social channels. We'll be doing them every week. And if you'd like to know what we're going to be doing next week, well, we'll leave the choice up to you. We'll post it on Twitter and you can decide for yourselves. See you next time.